Well, I just played the worst tournament of the year so far, one of my worst rounds in a long time, and I want to talk about it. Let this video be a cautionary tale to anyone who's like me, who likes working on form, who wants to always improve, who loves disc golf, who loves to play tournaments. If you're the kind of person that likes this channel, that likes when I make these form videos, and you're any way interested in playing any sort of tournament or competitive disc golf, this video will be very important to you. We're gonna call the thing that I think is a huge problem for me, my problem. And we're gonna talk about the tournament in general, and we're gonna affectionately refer to that problem as my problem before we actually talk about what it is, because I want to go over the tournament before I start talking about what went wrong. So I played Welcome to the Jungle. This was a 3-round A tier, my first A tier of the year, and we played 2 rounds at Meadowbrook Orchards. You'd be familiar with that if you watch Simon Lizott's channel, one of the best courses in Massachusetts. And then we played 1 round in between those 2 at Cogs Hall Park, a much more wooded track compared to the open Meadowbrook Orchards. I was pretty nervous coming into the event, but I still was able to put up a pretty decent round 1 at Meadowbrook. A couple mishaps here and there, but I kept my stuff together. I played pretty well, and I put up like a 985 rated round. Pretty good, you know, above the middle of the pack. I think it was somewhere around 20th place out of 75. Not much to say about it. Was kind of just getting in the swing of things. Round 2 at Cogs, I started off pretty well. The front 9 was great. I think I was 1 down or maybe even going into hole 10, and then I had a stretch of holes that were very bad, and I would say my problem was way worse during this round. It was kind of there during the first round, but I was able to kind of keep it at bay. During the second round, it got significantly worse, and I think once we got towards the back 9, it just started to make things crumble, and I played a bunch of holes very much over par, and the round kind of just fell apart. Then we had a lightning delay that lasted like 2 or 3 hours. The round got postponed. I had to wake up at 7 a.m. the next day to come play at 8 a.m. to finish the last 5 holes of the round, which continued to go poorly. Then I played my 3rd round at Meadowbrook, where I played, I would say, better. The problem was still there at the start of the round and caused some issues, but I would say somewhere around hole 4 or 5, my problem started to go away, because I kind of realized what it was and I fixed it. And the round actually ended up probably being pretty close to my rating, except for the fact that I went for 2 holes that I normally would lay up and went OB on both and played those 2 holes 3 strokes over par, where I would normally get pretty much a free par on either one of them. So it ended up being 3 strokes worse than it really should have been. But I mean, at that point, it didn't really matter. I was so far out of cash, I was kind of just having fun. It didn't really matter anymore. So what is my problem and what went wrong in round 2? My problem is that I am too obsessed with my form, and I am too critical of myself. I'm sure many of you are similar. I was literally like miming form things that I wanted to fix in the hotel room the night before round 2, because Ellie had taken videos of me and I saw things that I think could have been fixed, and I wanted to fix them during the second round, and that ended up being, as many of you probably could guess, a horrible idea. I thought there were like little tweaks that I could like fix in the moment. Clearly not. I was very focused on certain aspects of my form that I thought I had to do right. And instead of being focused on just throwing the shot the way I know how to throw it, which I've been able to do for years. Like, I never really thought of form years ago when I was really first getting into disc golf. It's only been as I've like gotten better that I've had a hard time compartmentalizing doing form work and playing tournaments, especially this year. And I think that particular round, it came to a head and was pretty bad. There was one particular shot where it became very apparent to me. It was my first bogey of the round. It was a 350-ish shot, dead straight with a gully in the middle, and you had to hit a gap the whole way there. I had done it pretty well in practice, because in practice I was loose and just throwing shots. But when it came time to the tournament, I was super tense and really focused on trying to like do certain things with my body that just I didn't do because I was thinking about them too hard. If you've ever done form work and tried to fix something and tried to do something, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You often don't do it correctly. And I ended up getting way too tense, way too overthinking things, and threw the shot terribly. And I remember watching it and thinking like, that didn't look like my form. It looked like someone else was throwing the disc. This right here was actually the disc that I threw. I'm here in the field right now, and apologies, I'm downwind of the throughway, which feels louder than normal because of the wind. But I'm at the field because I need to work on just throwing without thinking about it too much. If I want to just throw a 350-foot shot dead straight, and this is way more wind than I was feeling in the woods for sure, I could probably do it pretty easily if I don't think about it too much. Got a little bit of drift right because of the wind. That was a fantastic shot though. And that, honestly, I think the fairway even shaped a little bit right. So that would have been literally a perfect shot on that hole. I would have parked it. And it was one of the harder holes in the day. And I wouldn't have gotten a bogey. My round wouldn't have went probably as bad because of many other shots that had the same problem. It's not a hard shot. Was my form good there? I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it back when editing. That's a huge problem that I have, is I film videos all the time, so I'm always watching myself throw, and I always can pick out little things that are wrong. But right now, I threw the shot and I knew it was good, so I really don't care if my form was good or if everything was perfect, because it felt good and it flew good. And right now, I shouldn't be in the mindset of trying to fix those things. As the round went on, there were many things that I think went wrong, but the key component was that I was overthinking things way too much. Being in the woods just made it 10 times worse and amplify it, because there were so many very specific lines I had to hit and I was not hitting them. I was pulling my shots, I was tensed up, my form was probably just bad in general. And it's ironic because my form ended up being so much worse because I was trying to make it better actively while throwing. Now, it's normal to overthink shots, especially in the woods. Everyone does it. Obviously, we want to get to the point where we don't overthink things at all, and I think I kind of got to that in the final round of the tournament, which I'll talk about in a minute. But adding an extra element of that overthinking, which involves form, the literal mechanics of your body, not just overthinking it and like, I have to hit this gap, or I'm worried about the wind, or I'm worried about the result, but adding in like, I'm worried my body isn't gonna be in the right positions, that makes it so much worse. And if you're thinking about that and you're not trusting your form in the moment, you're almost guaranteed to throw bad shots. And that's what I ended up doing. I threw a bunch of terrible shots because the thoughts that were in my head were basically, oh, I need to like make sure my angle's good, make sure my follow through is good. I want to be leaning forward a little bit if I'm throwing it on hyzer, because a lot of the times I lean back and pull it a little bit. I want my plant to be solid on the ground so I don't slip on this tee pad or whatever. Maybe not all those at once, but those were kind of things that were running through my mind at certain points. And it ended up making my shots feel really forced and just not good. There were shots that were just straight putter shots, 300 feet. I don't have to think about that. Like just like I can do that all day. Again, the wind's pushing it right, but why did I have to overthink that so much? Clearly I'm capable of doing that. I have to channel that, and that's where I think overthinking your form is something that can really, really, really hurt you. So round three wasn't my best round. Like I said, I ended up going for some shots that I shouldn't have, which made the round end up being worse. I think if I hadn't gone for those shots and played them for par like my game plan suggested, I would have shot roughly my rating, maybe a little bit higher, which in retrospect, I'm a little upset about because I would have rather had shot that round, but I was way out of cash and was just kind of trying to throw some fun shots and went OB by like literally like 2 feet on both of them. So I'm over it, whatever. I shot, 30 points below my rating, not that big of a deal. But I was way more loose, way more free, and just throwing shots without thinking about form. I remember hole 1, I overthought my shot and I went OB on my upshot. And I also threw a pretty bad tee shot. Not too bad, but like not as good as I wanted to. Hole 2, I overthought my shot a little bit. And hole 3, I really overthought it and got kind of a good break and ended up getting a spit out. And then hole 4, I started to kind of trust my shot a little more. And then hole 5 was in particular a straight putter shot, like I said, around 200 feet, 5 and 6, which I had played terribly the first round, despite having a pretty good round. But all I told myself on the tee was like, hey, the round is already going kind of poorly. You had that spit out. You bogeyed hole 1, throw an OB. Just fully commit to these shots. Don't worry about hitting a tree. Don't worry about hitting the gap. Just line yourself up with a tee and throw the shot you know you're capable of throwing. And I stepped up. I grabbed my disc. I lined up with the gap. I threw with full effort. And I smacked the gap perfectly, both times. Hit a late tree, kind of unlucky on both of them, and missed the 30-footer, 35-footer. I think it was around C2, maybe circle 1 edge type deal. So I didn't make the putt. But the shot was a significantly better result than the first round because I didn't worry about it. I wasn't worried about hitting a tree. I wasn't worried about screwing up. I just stepped up and threw it, and I put my full effort into throwing that shot, and I wasn't holding up or like tensing up. And I think one, not being scared of the hole and the result is one thing, but also not thinking about your form too much. And as the round went on, I was putting my shots in way better positions and parking holes that I played poorly because I wasn't thinking about the shots as much, partially because I kind of just, I didn't really care about how the round went anymore, but also I stopped worrying about my form. I stopped thinking about the tilt of my body, my plant leg, and my stagger, and all these things that I've been kind of trying to work on a little bit. I just forgot about them. Also, forehands for me were terrible all weekend. I had some good ones, but I had some that were just absolutely terrible, way worse than I would ever expect. And I know I'm totally capable. If I don't overthink it, I can just step up and throw a good forehand. That was great. It's like I hit a gap in the middle, dumped out, whatever. Even if I want to throw a zone, just a little hyzer, easy. And those were shots that I had kind of struggled with throughout the weekend because I was overthinking them. And so it's just another example of getting in my head too much, thinking about form too much, and it totally screwing up my game. I had to trust the shot that I was throwing, and being so engrossed in the form work that I was doing leading up to and somewhat during the tournament, it bled into the tournament and totally screwed up my performance. So when you watch this video, it'll be Friday of this week, of the second week of May. I will be gone. I'll be traveling to a tournament that'll be very difficult, and I'll be by myself. It's gonna be in the woods. I'm gonna have to hit my lines, and my goal for that tournament is gonna be to just throw fully committed 100% shots. Don't think about form. I don't need to make any form changes right now. I just gotta step up and throw the disc, because I can hit my shots exactly where I want if I don't overthink it. I mean, how good of a shot is that? I was barely thinking. I was just throwing. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm sure maybe there are some small problems, but these are good shots. And if I'm throwing these in tournament, I'm pretty happy about it. So if you're someone like me, like I said in the beginning, that loves working on form, that's always looking at that kind of stuff, but you like to play tournaments, you like to compete, just think about it a little bit, be okay with your form. Don't always be trying to fix things. Maybe leave it for the off season or moments when you're not playing as many tournaments. I have a bunch of more tournaments coming up this month, and I want to really make sure I'm not overthinking stuff, especially because when I look at the tournaments I played around this time last year, I think my form looks terrible, but I don't recall thinking about it as much as I am now. And I still ended up doing pretty well at some of those tournaments. And so just step up and throw the shots. Don't overthink it. Just do what you're capable of doing in tournament. I'm throwing so much better shots now, just out in this field while talking. Obviously there's no stakes, but I'm not focused or dialed in or anything. I barely even warmed up, and I'm throwing fantastic shots. I find my hyzer releases to be so much better, especially with flippier discs. I find that I tense up and pull things way more when I'm overthinking it. So yeah, that's why I'm out here doing field work. I'm focusing on just throwing without thinking, getting myself to just trust the shots, and I think that's gonna lead to some much better results as the year goes on, because frankly that tournament was so far from what I expected. I knew I could struggle in the woods there, but that was a round I never expected to have, and I don't want to do it again. And so hopefully this is a lesson that helps me and also helps you, because I know many of you like to play tournaments, you like to work on your form, and having those two things at the same time is so hard to do, especially when you're trying to get better. Good luck out there, everyone. Good luck at your tournaments. Good luck working on your form. Just don't do them at the same time. See you next time. Peace.